Advice, balanced, and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na, 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 na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, that's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
You are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip on the show, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. Gosh, I for 995. Change and not the best internet. He put a cable down here, but it's not working that well. But anyways, I am so happy to be here. Is Elan in studio yet? There she is. There she is. There you are.
I was waiting. I did even a couple of things. Good morning.
It is a great morning. Good to see you. I'm still in Calabasas.
It was like everything looks so different. So I'm glad. I was worried about you that you were going to have to drive home last night. And I was like, gosh, it's such a long drive. And you were going to go to Calabasas. Not that I didn't want you to come out this way. I just didn't want you to have to drive home in that traffic. So I'm glad you split the night.
I know. So so we'll do our breakfast with Dr. Marissa and Elan Carter. Oh, look who's here. Peanut Gallery JP is here from New York. And he was here yesterday, Alana. I'll tell you, he was here to wish me a happy. And how Marissa? Well, you're going to find out right now because we're going to do our breakfast with Dr. Marissa and
Elan Carter with my cup of coffee this morning.
Somewhere. And top of the bun is 8 specific things that you're grateful for. Bottom of the bun is 8 things that you like about yourself. So I'm going to answer your question, JP, Orville Nation, from New York, by saying I am so grateful for an amazing birthday day yesterday. I let's see, I had a great show with Sam, and then I drove to my mom and dad, my bonus mom and dad, 90 and 93, and had breakfast gourmet donuts, which you'll see on my social today. Doc Balance on Instagram, Dr. Marissa everywhere else. And then I drove up to this beautiful co-host of mine, Elan Carter, who took me to it's called Foot Inspiration in the Valley, and they do like Chinese reflexology. So we had a 90-minute massage. So that's 3.
So good.
This really good sushi restaurant, and a shout out to Kelly, Martine, and Tom at the how to say it, Elan? How do you say it?
I think it's Taisho.
Taisho. It's a fabulous Japanese restaurant. And then after that, I drove to Calabasas to my my prosperity family, my Asian family, the Shins, and another happy birthday serenade, played mahjong, and learned a new card game, golf. And those of you who know me, I love card games. And welcome. I see all these eyeballs rolling in. Thank you for joining us. This is Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and my very special series on Fridays called Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Elan Carter.
Here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. And then after I finished playing at 3 in the morning,
oh my God.
John and Arlene are like, you're not driving home. You are going to. So they have a room here we all joke that it's my room, even though it's, one of several guest rooms, but it's mine. So so I'm trying to do this remote, and I don't do it very often. And I have to thank Frank, who is, this is his first rodeo doing this remote. And there we go. And so he is manning the studio on the inside and doing a great job. So that is my gratitude. You get to do 4 gratitudes, because I just did all 4 of mine.
Okay. My gratitude is that we discovered a new restaurant, which was really good. And it was food that we love. We both like everything on the menu is exact same things. So we like the same type of foods. I love Asian food anyway. That's like my favorite food. So we discovered that. And then I got to spend the birthday with Dr. Marissa, and the Foot Inspiration place was so amazing. We got to relax and just, we felt rejuvenated. And that was really good. I'm really grateful that you came up. That is my 3rd one. I'm grateful that you actually drove out to me, because I do live quite far, and that you got to extend your birthday from my house to someone else's, and you're still out here having a great time. That's all 4.
That's great. And now to the bottom of the bun. And why do we do appreciations of ourselves? Because I believe, it's my BS belief system, that the key to good mental health is to approve of yourself, is to self-care, is to know that you're 88% fabulous and only 12% of the time you step in it. But you're not perfect, but you're pretty darn good. So I want you to work your muscle of knowing, the good things about you. So I appreciate that I am a good think on my feet kind of person. So when something comes at, I'm not like completely flabbergasted. That's my one. Go.
That's good. Okay. I appreciate that. I'm consistently growing and evolving in me as a person. I discovered that this week.
Yes. I appreciate that I know how to have great friendships. And Elan is certainly one of my more recent, we're only a year and a half old, maybe, friends, but I know she's got my back and I've got hers, and we can talk about anything. And I just love that. I appreciate my ability to attract great people.
to second motion on that, I appreciate that I recognize good friendships and know what's good for me and what's not good for me. I'm able to see the energy of good people. I read energy very well.
I appreciate that. I love playing games. There's that thrill, and whether I win or lose, although I'm a huge good winner, and I often say it's not whether you win or lose, it's whether I win or lose. So, but I love the fun in play.
I appreciate that I have more of a youthful spirit. So, being around my son, I'm hanging out with his music people and they try to be respectful, but I'm like, oh, say whatever. I'm just like, I like one of the young people. I dress like a teenager. So not in a bad way, but I still like my high top tennis shoes and my jeans.
She does not twerk in public. I can tell you that. Right.
That's what I'm getting at. I will do it. At home.
All right.
I can't even do it. I can't even do it.
Anyways, last appreciation. I appreciate that I love life. I juice my life. I know it's not true. Time is not money, because money you can make and lose and grow, and time you cannot get back. And so that's why I literally had 4 wishes yesterday for my birthday, because I had 4 groups of people sing me happy birthday, because I want to juice my birthday day and really, gosh, I don't want to leave anything undone. So I appreciate that I know how precious life is. Last
one more.
Mm-hmm.
I had one in my head and I just went blank. I can't remember what I was about to say. I'll make one up. I appreciate me.
That's a very good one. All right.
Okay, good.
For Breakfast with Dr. Marissa and
Elan Carter
here on Tempting Conversations, the Friday special series called Tempting Conversations, because my co-host Elan Carter is the daughter of the amazing founder of The Temptations. And so she actually sang me happy birthday yesterday, and she did fine. She did just fine. But if you want to hear that, that is actually on social right now. And it is pretty funny. So Orville's like, oh, okay.
I don't play that.
So
kind of thing low. I was like,
yes, thanks for having breakfast with us today. And because I can't hit the button, Frank, if you're listening, you could do the applause right now to thank you for joining us for breakfast this morning. And if you can't reach it, then we're good. We'll just keep going. What are we tempted to talk about today? Let's see. I know one thing I really wanted to do today was to take a minute of silence. Not necessarily silence like something bad has happened, but to take a breath and send the energy of peace and comfort. And right now, the people of Hawaii are really hurting. And
that's what we're talking about. Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay.
I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, I did too. I'll tell you in a second. Let's just do this first. So if you're listening and not driving, gently close your eyes, take a deep breath in through the nose, hand on your heart, and release. And that is peace, love, comfort, and balance to all the people right now in Hawaii. Everything's going to be all right in the end. If it's not all right now, it's not the end. And we're just sending you a lot of strength and courage as you move through this change. And another deep breath in and release. And when you're ready, come back to the room. Open your eyes. All right. So that goes out to all those in Hawaii. And you actually lived in Hawaii, right?
Yeah. So during COVID, we had a flat in London and we could not go to London. So I said, to my husband, let's move to Hawaii because I love Hawaii anyway. And we go a lot. Like I spent a lot of time there in Maui. And we rented a house because of COVID. We had to get a long-term lease because they weren't renting. It was illegal to rent, but we were lucky to find the only place that would rent to us. So we got a place for 6 months. And, there was no one on the island. It was great because of what happened. But even then, people really got to know us because we did everything the locals do. And we already were spending time there. And, even when we moved back from the house that we had, spring break, I'm always there. I always go there around February. So the people in the island actually kind of know us. And, we were trying to get in touch. There's one person that we can't get in touch with that worked in one of the restaurants that we used to go to. We know he lives over there. We know he lives right in that area. So, and it's a nice guy, hardworking, and we just can't get in touch with him. But they did say on the news yesterday that everything's down and there are certain people. Now, most people were able to contact us, which is quite amazing that we had a lot of people come back and say, we're okay. It's just one person we can't get a hold of. The tree, which I was concerned because my kids we shoot a family picture and I posted it yesterday. But my daughter was just there in this past March. She was just there a couple of months ago. Every year since the kids were like little babies, we post pictures of that tree. And I mean, it's so sacred and very spiritual. And also too, that tree is from like the 1700s. That town is like probably the first town in Hawaii. They have a school that's been there for over 100 years. They have all the like council and all the government, and they're old buildings. You can tell it's almost like an old Western town. Of course, there's shops and stuff in it. There's a lot. So all the buildings are old little places, and anyone who's been to Hawaii knows that. That is that side. It's horrible because if you do go to Hawaii, a lot of times because of the culture, you'll see that will be a fancy hotel, including the Four Seasons, and there'll be rocks and there'll be a sectioned off. And it'll be a burial ground, an ancient burial ground. And it must have been some kind of king or whatever, queen, that they're not allowed to touch it. Well, there's quite a bit of that over there. Plus, there are two really, really old churches. You can definitely tell it's from the 1700s. So it's the spirituality of it. I know, of course, it's unfortunate when we lose something like that, a town. Of course, things can be rebuilt. But Hawaii has a spiritual part of it that is so rich, and Maui specifically is very spiritual. I love all the islands. That one's my favorite because I feel so spiritual when I'm in Maui. So I don't know. I think maybe because I have a opinion of things being taken over on the island. Maybe the ancestors want it redone. Maybe they want new things there because a lot of the locals, a lot of the natives have been pushed out of there. And another thing that broke my heart, my kids scuba dive. The area right there where they scuba dive, there's a huge area on the beach where people live because they're poor. It's right next to the graveyard. And they have all their houses, they have their tents up, everything. People actually live right there in that area. I just hope this is so many people passed and they jumped in the water. I just hope that everyone's okay. It's not like when you go to the fancy hotels, that area, there's a lot of stuff that you just don't see unless you are actually there on the island every single day. You're actually involved with the culture. And so my heart goes out to the people that live right there. Literally, they live with the
Yeah. As you can notice, I'm on the move. My bonus mom and dad wanted to do something for me for my birthday at 11. So I'm driving back down into Huntington. And my bonus sister, was actually on an empty plane from United to go to Hawaii to pick up people in Hawaii and bring them back, the evacuation. So So that was really sweet. I mean, nice I know that a bunch of different airlines are doing that. And so I'm moving out of a construction zone here, but I'm taking you on a ride.
That's okay. No road rage. No road rage, Dr. Marissa.
No road rage. Yeah. I'm not flipping anybody off. But
you're cutting out a bit. I can't hear you. I'll keep talking. So in that area, Bahania, there's a whole bunch of hotels further down on that side. So there's two sides of that.
There we go.
Wailea side where the high-end hotels. Yes, I'm talking because we lost you. So I'm talking about the two ends of the side of Maui. So on the Wailea side, great weather. That's the side that Oprah lives on. Very plush, beautiful, very high-end hotels. The other side is where most people, further down from where what got burnt, is where everyone goes. The other end of Maui, where all the hotels. I mean, there's a ton of hotels there. So hopefully the hotels will accommodate the people that have no place to go. But also, too, the road, there's only one road in and out. It's like almost being in California and Malibu. So anyone who wants to travel anytime soon, I don't know how that's going to happen because all those hotels are on that end and there's no way you're going to get there without going through that town. And people that want to go back to see what's left, they said there's nothing left. Not to mention, one of the friends of ours is a really famous artist. He's the one that does the Rolling Stone tongue. You know, the Rolling Stone who has the tongue that goes out that we see everywhere. That guy, the artist, lives there. And his gallery is right there. And he has the most amazing art, like Jimi Hendrix, Bruce Springsteen. I mean, his art is fabulous. He's the one with the tongue. And that stuff's gone. All his art is gone. I know that he cannot get that stuff out. His gallery is right there. So it's stuff like that. Even though it's like a place, there are really, really expensive artists that move there because they retire. That stuff's, I mean, really high-end art. It's gone. So
yeah,
I think Hawaii is going to really have to reinvent themselves. I think that it's going to be difficult. I think people can go support when things calm down because that island makes money off the tourists. That's the only way for them to make money. Those locals, a lot of people during COVID had to leave. Our friends, when we were at the hotel, were like, well, half the people that we know are gone. They said because they couldn't afford to live here anymore. They had to leave and move away because when COVID happened, all the hotels were closed. So now it's really going to be difficult for everybody there. So, when things calm down, I think we need to support. If anyone could donate money and do anything they can to help them kind of rebuild and get back, just so people won't be displaced, right? There's not too many places you can live on the beach like that and just live there and live off the fruits of the land and just be there, right? Where else are you going to go? And even if you go to the other islands, it's very expensive to go to the other islands, and it's more developed in Oahu, so you can't live on the island. If you go to Kauai, it's very high end. You can't live like that, like you can in Maui. Maui, you can kind of be a surfer type of, what do we call in the 60s? What did they call the people that were just hippies? There was a name for them. You have all those there in Maui.
Aboriginal? Aboriginal?
No, I'm talking about the hippies. I'm talking about the hippies, free spirit, free love.
Nomads?
It's nothing left. Ask my mom.
Yeah, okay. We can do that.
Sure. Yeah, with like the hippie people that could just kind of surf and do nothing, and flower child. There were a lot of flower type of people there.
Oh, flower child. Okay.
Yeah. But there's not too many other places you can do that. Maybe in the Big Island, but it's still not as easy. And the weather is better, I think, in Maui. But even on the other side of the island, in Kihei, and Kihei is where we live, just right next to Wailea. Kihei, there were some sparks jumped. So there are some places in Kihei that caught on fire too, not right where the beach is, but further over where the freeway. So it sparked in different places. And supposedly, this is hearsay, that there was a farmer when the hurricane happened. They asked him to close his farm down, and he refused to do it. And so his stuff was running, and the stuff that he had running sparked, and that's what triggered the whole thing. Because the winds were so high, yes, because it gets very, very windy there in the like midday. So I can't imagine if there's a hurricane. When we were there, there was hurricane warnings, and the winds were crazy.
Okay.
You know, so
I actually let me just. Is my sound like really bad with the car?
I hear like
I
air
put the mic
conditioner.
on mute.
I hear
I'm
air
sorry,
conditioner and I hear air conditioner
You
and
hear
window.
air conditioning.
Wind. I hear wind.
Okay. Let me.
Pull
I
over.
purposely am not putting my signal on because I know you can hear that. Let me see. I don't know
You have
if I can put it
do you have
on
your air conditioner?
speaker.
Do you have your air
Yeah.
conditioner on? Turn it down. And then it won't be as windy. I think she put me on mute.
I didn't put you on mute. I put me on mute.
Oh,
Is
you
that
put
any
you on
better?
mute.
Is that any better?
That's a little bit
A
better.
little bit better? Okay. Well, I'll put myself on mute when you're talking. That way you're more clear and you don't hear the air conditioning. And I do apologize. I'm going to blame it on my birthday. But I actually lived in Hawaii Kai for a little while, and I was on Oahu, which I don't think has been affected as much as Maui and the Big Island. But I also love Hawaii because it was the first time I felt like I didn't stick out like a sore thumb, because I was born in Canada in a small town that was full of German, the largest German community outside of Germany. So I kind of looked a little different. And I remember the first time I went to Hawaii, I actually felt like I belonged and that I wasn't so weird. But so I actually won, I don't know if I told you, a regional title for Miss Hawaiian Tropic. And the reason why I lived in Hawaii was because there was a little scandal. I was first runner-up, and the winner was not, she was uncrowned or dethroned. So I got to go to Hawaii and do that for instead of her. So I loved living in Hawaii for so many reasons. Although I did begin to appreciate how I looked, and that I'm a city girl, because after living in Oahu for a while, I was dating Tony Maloney, the manager for Moose McKillicuddy's. And it was the island was so small that I was getting island fever. They call it island fever when it's super small. And I would go to airports to just meet new people. That's a joke. If I could get a hold of my sound effects, that would have been a da-da-da. But I loved Hawaii. And as you were speaking, and I know that Orville, Maria's here. Let's see, what does Maria say here? I can't read and drive at the same time. What does that say, Elan? What did Maria just write?
I hope you have a happy birthday.
Oh, man.
She hopes you have
the first part of the report. The reason why I'm doing the broadcast right now from my car is because I had a great birthday. And don't go there. No, I did not meet up with a guy. And, this is not the drive of shame. I was out with Elan
I was with her yesterday.
And
she left me. So she may have the drive of shame, because she was with me yesterday, then she left, and now she's driving home. She's still in my area.
I am. I'm still in the valley, and so I'm gonna say this. And I have to turn the air conditioning on. I'm sorry, it's so hot. Because there's three things in life I do not understand: vandalism, terrorism, and why people live in the valley. Because it's so hot. But
I love it.
Anyway,
I love it. I love it. I don't like cold weather. We talk about this all. See, I have melanated skin. I like the heat. I like the sun. Oh, we talk about this
my
all the time.
Asian sister calling in, and I don't know how to turn the notifications off, Elan. So half the time, that's why I keep going out is when people call me to wish me a happy birthday. Anyways, I do want to say this, and then I'm going to let you talk for a long time and go mute so that I'm not interrupting the sound. I know tragedy. I have been, news will reach out because I'm a grief expert because of what happened with the Seal Beach salon shooting. And when something like this happens, this tragedy, there's no way to prepare for this. The tendency for people to try to explain and blame that this happened is really not productive. And so if you hear people saying, oh, somebody's being punished, or, who's to blame for this, if you could just say, actually, we don't know anything yet. We never know what the details are for at least a good month after some tragedy happens. So let's just send out support, financially, emotionally, spiritually, and prayers, do what you can, and not engage in the blame and shame game that goes on when tragedy happens. And for people who just click their tongue and shake their head and, so-and-so should have done this, or da-da-da-da-da-da, and all the rhetoric and I'm sure politically someone's going to start saying it's, Biden's fault, or, all of that. It's really counterproductive to tragedy. So that is my 8 cents worth. And I'm hoping, all those that are within the sound of my voice, when something like this happens, please don't engage, or what you permit, you promote. If you call someone and start talking about how horrible it is and it's not helping the situation. Channel your energy of care into doing something productive instead of talking about things that you don't know for sure. That's my public service happy announcement.
Well, I will reiterate, because I did make that comment earlier, right? Because we were on the island for so long, they're going to investigate if it was just a natural disaster or if it was something that sparked it. And the only reason why I do know this information, that this is someone who is in the military, who's a huge official. They're not in the military, but they work for the military. There's a big station in Hawaii, and they work in Maui. So this is firsthand information, government information that my
I'm not talking about you. I wasn't talking about that.
Well, I'm just bringing this information that's what they're saying triggered it. I'm not blaming anyone and saying that this person did it on purpose, but they were running still their business, and they think that's what might have sparked it, because right now everything's really dry, right? So if you're going about your business and you're doing your stuff and you're up in the mountains, the last thing you would have thought that something would have sparked and gone over. And that's not 1,000% sure for sure yet, but that's what they're saying, that during their investigation, that's what they think triggered it. But then the other side of the island, going about their business, taking care of stuff, you don't know the winds are like that, then it triggered something on the other side. And that's how fires are. Just like when we had them in the valley, like it'll trigger and jump because of something very small. Unfortunately, there's a tragedy because of what happened, right? And people are displaced. I don't think anyone did it on purpose. It's just that's what triggered it. And we do want to know why and how, because, this is an island that's gone through many things. And, like I said, that little town's been there since the late 1700s. The tree is what I was so concerned about, And so someone sent me a picture of it yesterday. So yes, they scorched it, but that tree is like, I'm not going anywhere. Everything around it is gone. There's a little facility right behind the tree. It's a building gone, but the tree looks like it's okay. The tree is going to be okay. It got a little scorched, but it's been there, and it's been, I mean, it's just, it's the most beautiful thing ever. And they think that the tree is going to be fine. So that definitely is very spiritual. And there's a church that's very old that's still standing, that did not burn down. Everything around it, the tree and the church. So I do think it's, you know, like, I believe like everything in Hawaii is very spiritual. I've seen like certain things, you know, just driving, and then the natives will say, oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of that. Like the rainbow, there were rainbows come out all the time. There's a lot of signs. And I think that, you know, they had the biggest satellite is right there on the top of the mountain in Maui. The satellite, the biggest satellite is right there. So there's definitely some kind of portals going on, but I think that the island is rejuvenating itself.
Yes, and that's exactly my point. Is you just heard Elan talking about what is good, what is positive. The tree's still there. There's love and light. There's an aspect of energy that I was talking about, not the specifics around that that you were mentioning. I'm talking about there's a tendency in tragedy for people to say, how could this happen? And how, you know, like, this is a sign that the universe is not friendly. Like, there, you know, how could this happen? Why do bad things happen to good people? And it's been my experience that those kinds of questions are not helpful. So I know that somewhere down the line, I'm not saying that there's a good reason this happened. I know that somewhere down the line, we're going to know some of the silver linings or some of the things that happened as a direct result. So my discipline is to always ask, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. And the reason why I do that is I need to focus on the solution side of things. Because if I stay in that angry, bitter, resentful, futile, hopeless place, I can't help myself look and go past the pain into power. And so I'm not saying that you should, you know, jump there real quick. If you've had loss, if you've had abuse, if you've had any kind of pain, there has to be some level of, you know, that hurts and this sucks and it's not fair. But to stay in that place is what I'm saying is not useful or helpful. But certainly, you know, I'm not telling anybody who's now, you know, displaced or has lost so much in Hawaii to get to that place. But for us to hold them and let them grieve, but not try to, you know, marinate in it, and also not try to not deal with it. That balance, that, you know, yeah.
Right now,
so that's what I would
right
say.
now, all I think we need to do right now is gather all the goods we have for the people that don't have, so they can just have a place, even if it's tents, you know, because even when you go to the stores there, that was one thing that I complained about when we were living there. The grocery is so expensive. I mean, it's like double, like a box of cereal was $12. It was just so expensive. I could not believe. I actually would come home and bring a suitcase of food or have my friends send me care packages because it was so expensive. So it's not going to be affordable for them to go get food because they have to import everything. And I'm sorry, I have cat hair on my face. And it's not, I'm sitting here and keeps going like this. It's not coming straight to Maui. It has to go to Oahu first. And then from Oahu, it has to go to the other islands. So it's very expensive. So if anyone can donate stuff for people there, find out what places they're taking the donations, even if they send some like tents, you know, or just a shelter or warm blankets or toiletries for the people, just so they have a facility, because for them to purchase it, it's very expensive. And, you know, a lot of the people, you go to the Rite Aid, you go to CVS, they have fish lines everything for fishing right there in the drugstore, because people, that's how they survive. Everyone fishes every day because they can feed their family, right?
Yeah.
You know, you've got the coconuts, you've got everything in trees.
Yeah.
So that's how they survive, and that's the way of life. Even the hippies. That's what I wanted to say earlier.
Hippies, not the flower children. So I'm gonna normally, if I were in my living room, in my normal studio, I'd be Googling ways to help the victims in Hawaii. So I know Oracle Nation and Maria are tuned in. I think the other day, PJ was able to Google something that I had asked. If you could Google right now, Oracle Nation in New York, that question, how can we send food, or how can we help the people in Hawaii right now, see what comes up, because I think what Elan's talking about, organizations that are already mobilized to go and send or help, that would be really helpful. And hopefully he can hear me and is going to put that in the chat. So, and if you've just tuned in and you're wondering who's in my studio and what's going on today, it is Take My Advice. I'm not using a Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show while driving. And this is on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course my YouTube channel, where we come at you live every weekday morning. This is Friday, so it is my special series, Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Elan Carter.
And I am trying to make it back down to Huntington Beach from Calabasas, which is why I am driving. This is the drive of shame, because yesterday I was partying hardy, but I did not, it's not full shame. It's just that I didn't get to my home studio in time, because I played Mahjong till 3 a.m. on the day after my birthday. So I hope you'll forgive me. And as you can see, I am on that over the hill from the valley now. I'm giving you a scenic tour of California. But I'm going to let Elan do most of the talking now, and we will, we're talking about Hawaii and all the things that are happening, how we can help. And I don't know if Maria or, let's see, Maria just commented here, and I don't have my glasses on. Don't worry, I can drive without my closed glasses. What did Maria say here?
Because Terry Vitalis gave us a place to help. So I'm sure Maria's going to get it so we can help everybody. And just, you know, keep up on the updates of what's going on. I'm sure there's a place, there's a facility. It's just trying to get that road to get out of there. The road is such a long way to get towards the airport, which is more city, and there's more facilities and more like larger spaces where you can house people, but just the people getting out, and some people just don't have cars. So that's another thing, because like I said, a lot of people just live there and they just live on the beach. And I'm sure there's no public transportation, but I'm almost hoping that, I'm sure they've got people out because they evacuated. They got a bus in there to get them out. They said there's nothing for anyone to go back to. So they got to leave, right? And I know people want to see if they had something to save, but they don't. So yes, we just also remember there's a lot of children too. So whoever's going to help, if they can send, if you're going to send perishables, you're going to send, clothing, whatever, you're just going to have to make sure you send stuff for kids. And yes, it does get chilly in Hawaii. I know everyone thinks it's always hot. It does get quite chilly. So even like blankets would be good too. Doesn't have to be heavy blankets, but some blankets would be nice, just for them to keep warm. Packaged stuff would be good. Pets too. Yep, that's also true. There's a lot of pets. The pets, they're the chickens. It's so sad. You can't even touch the chickens. The chickens just run the island, right? I'm sure they were able to fly somewhere, but that breaks my heart, because right where the people were living, and that's where the graveyard is on the beach, there's so many, like hundreds of chickens that just walk around. And I feel sorry for the animals that they weren't even pets. That's just, their island. I hope they were okay and they survived and they got to safety. I think the chickens can fly low. I think they can fly a little bit. So I'm sure they were able to get away. So remember the dogs, and remember there's a lot of cats there. So yes, people do have a lot of animals. So if you could send stuff for their pets would be great.
I know that United Way and Red Cross are certainly organizations that can mobilize pretty quickly because they've been doing it for a long time. But, the one of the things about tragedies is it reminds us that, life is precious and things happen without warning. And, I know my discipline when tragedy happens is to reach out to people that I haven't talked to in a while to tell them how much I love them and to remind myself of how connected I am to everyone. And so, whenever, we look at Haiti and what happened there, we look at New Orleans and we look at what's happening in Hawaii, this is humankind and emphasis on kind. So I'm hoping that no one is only focused on the fact that they can't go there on vacation. Unfortunately, I've heard that. And it's really? You're going to talk about how you're not going to be able to go on vacation there, and there's people who have lost everything. So let's be a little sensitive, too, about our comments right now. Anyways, I thought I would just type that in.
Well, as far as the Red Cross, if you could send stuff directly would be great in a care package, because just like the thing with Haiti, a lot of people didn't get any relief. Red Cross got a lot of money, and a lot of people in Haiti got nothing from the Red Cross. I mean, that's what ends up happening years ago. People were saying they got nothing, and they were like, where did the money go? These people need immediate action. They need immediate, they're desolate, and they need something right now that they can get to. So I know it might be a little pricier to send a box. I think that if you could send a box directly, it would be much more efficient than sending money to a organization for them to dish out accordingly as they see fit. That's what ends up happening. So that's just my 2 cents. And it happened the same thing with New Orleans too. Those people in New Orleans caught hell, and there still caught hell, and they didn't get anything. So I disagree on the Red Cross.
So this is why we're not always agreeing, Tempted. But you raise a good point, and I am not saying that they have not had issues, but I would do your research now. I think Maria says that's not true now, but do your research. Look it up. I know that there was a scandal that I think that is what you are referring to.
I've done my research. It's true. And it tends to be more of the more colored, melanated people that they seem to hold the money to, because that was in New Orleans and that was the same situation in Haiti. Now, maybe other people get it, but I'm telling you, that's what happened. I did do my research, and that's why I'm saying, and I've been in Hawaii. I spend so much time there. Send a package. It would be more efficient, regardless of what we think. Send a package directly, spend the extra money for the box, and just, give them some relief so they can have a place. I think that's the best bet. I'm gonna leave it at
that. Well, I mean, I do agree with you that if you have a friend in Hawaii, then send it to them, because they would be able to, get it to the right place because they're there. So, and if you don't have a friend in Hawaii, go looking for a friend. I bet right now there's a lot of, what's that website that has crowdfunding, right? Crowdfunding has a lot of different places where, you can do money. So we have a big comment here. Could you read that for me? Because I can't do it on driving.
I don't have my glasses on today. Thank you for the details. This is from Rana. Lombard. I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you for the details on the horrendous fire in Maui and other parts of the Hawaiian Islands. I've been to all the islands many times, working and playing with kindred spirits, the dolphins and whales there. That's my favorite because we do go there when when they're mating. I'm grateful to hear from Elan that sparked the fire. You took it off. What happened? Put it back. Okay. I have very dear friends in Kihei and upcountry. Yes, I'm downloading information intuitively that the land and tourist industry needed a reset, so to speak. So the Native Hawaiians, truly spiritual people. Yes, this is so true because when we lived there, we wanted to go to Hana, right? And we were warned because during COVID, so many locals were upset because the tourists were going to Hana, and it was during COVID, and they had a roadblock. They were told, they said, don't you go to Hana, because when they find out you're not one of the locals, they don't want you bringing anything over there. So they had a roadblock, I think, with their little, they were armed, like, turn around, and so there are people that live there that are very protective of the island, and everything she's saying is true. And as far as the whales, it's interesting because my husband, when they were mating, I met some really nice people that I'm still friends with because he decided to jump in the ocean and go chase the mother whale who was so close to shore. And the guy was like, is he chasing the whale? He swims like one of the locals. But anyway, we do go for the mating season because it's such a beautiful thing to see them because they come so close to protect their babies, and they stay there for at least a month. So Rana, everything you're saying is definitely, I feel like I was Hawaiian in a past life because I've been going there since I was like 5 years old. The first time I went to Hawaii, a matter of fact, I stayed at the hotel from Hawaii 5-0, the original one that was filmed when I was there. And my dad.
Wow, that's so cool. That is so cool.
Thank you,
we're running up close. Elan, we're running up close to the end of the show, so I just wanted to just interject for a second. Thank you, Raina, for your comment. I think you're a new contributor, so we appreciate that. And certainly, I don't see any yet, but please do go research how you can directly help those there. That's my final word. Elan, final word before we sign off.
Well, everyone, please donate. And like I said, I love Hawaii. I think I was Hawaiian in a past life because I've been going there since I was 5 years old. And my dad played there every year because that's the last place they celebrate New Year's. So every year the Temptations played there. So I've been to all the islands. And so before I even started going on my own as an adult, I've been going there since I was a little kid. So I feel I was just, even as a child, I always loved it. And I've been all over the world. It's just, I've always loved the Hawaiian Islands. So yes, let's help them get back and redo the land and bring it back to where it was. And then everyone could go on vacation. Let's help the people first. That's my last word.
Yes. And my final word is let's use this as a way to talk about, you can't talk about how bad it is unless you find some kind of a solution to top off the talk. So that way we're all not just continuing that's so sad, but there's actually some solution to it. Go to the GoFundMe site. Maybe, I'm sure there's a bunch right there right now that can meet Elan's criteria of doing something directly to help. So that's it for today's rendition, show number 996, I believe, of Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. I am so grateful for all of you. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best weekend ever. Thanks for all the birthday wishes, too. Love you all.